Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 130 of our trip around the United States. This morning we're getting things started off from here in Canal Park on the edge of Grand Rivers. From here we have a 230 mile day along the western side of Kentucky. We're going to be moving north from here up to the northern edge of the state and then dropping back down again. Our goal for the day is Hopkinsville. For the most part, today is going to be just a Kentucky day. We do have a little brief point where we reach up to Indiana and there's a run of challenges. We may do those if there's time. If we're starting to run behind, we'll cut that portion and keep it to Kentucky though. We're going to let the day decide that for us. Otherwise, it's just a run through this part of the state for the counties and the pages. We've got a pretty good mix of earth caches, virtuals, traditional, a little bit of everything on the list today. So it looks like it's going to offer some unique opportunities. Only one way to find out what it's going to be. Come on, let's get going. After taking in a gorgeous sunrise view at Canal Park, Aichan and I made our way to Big Springs Park in Princeton. Here in 1838, the Cherokee Indians camped on the 1,200-mile trek known as the Trail of Tears. The forced trek began in the Great Smoky Mountains and led westward into Indian Territory, costing the Cherokee people nearly 1/3 of their population. It was the Big Spring Earth Cache that had brought us here in the first place, and this spring is the source of the founding of the city. All trails leading northward from Cumberland between Nashville and Palmyra converged at the Big Spring, and from here led to crossing points for the Ohio River. Now let's see if we can't find a geocache so we can put our name onto a real logbook this morning. You never know what you're going to get inside of a geocache, and this one was filled with rocks. Heading up the road a bit, we made our way to the Marion Inn covered bridge. Covered bridges are not quite as common in this region as they are in the Northeast. One of those many places where we just never would have been able to find it if not for the geocache here. Even passing along on the main road, looking over for this covered bridge, I didn't actually see it until we had come down this road and pursued the geocache. And speaking of geocaches, let's see if we can't find another. This tree growing out of the stump of the old one looks like it provides a fantastic hiding place. And sure enough, with a little digging, there's the prize just waiting for us to uncover it. Now let's have a look at what might be inside. Ooh, that stuff's all seen better days. But the log's in good shape. Aichan's favorite geocaches are always the ones where she can get out of the car and walk around with me. She enjoys a nice stroll through the field and getting to smell all of the different things around. These stops are also important to ensure she's getting her daily exercise. This listing says that it is a 35mm film canister. Obvious geo beacon. It's right here. Well, it's that first step. It's a doozy. Classic 35mm film canister. My favorite kind. I'm not used to seeing this much swag packed in a 35mm either. It's like magic. Since there's also an observation platform here, it makes sense to climb up to the top so we can get a better view of the area. Aichan seemed more than happy to appreciate the view from up top as well. A little bit of elevation goes a long way. I didn't even tell her to come up here on the platform. She just saw stairs and I guess assumed, oh, there's stairs, okay, we gotta climb them, and up she went, so up I followed. I may not have told her to come up these stairs, but I think she knows me, because I was definitely gonna come up here.
Go ahead, you're good.
We've taken on enough stairs by this point in our journey that Aichan has developed a natural rhythm to flow down smoothly. Well-practiced technique right there. Crossing into Indiana briefly, we made our way to the Evansville Public Library. I wasn't completely sold on the detour into Evansville to go into Indiana. What did sell me, there was a geocache at the library which put the tipping point in favor of Evansville. But the other thing on the map that I really thought I wanted to do while I was here, in this library there are several cameras that are positioned to find ghosts. Some intrepid geocache hider decided to use these cameras to set up a webcam cache. I'm gonna go in there and get my photo on one of those cameras, hopefully without any ghosts in the background. Walking through this library with the floorboards creaking underneath each step actually did feel like something out of a horror movie. But there was nothing scary about being able to find a book that doubled as a geocache. In fact, finding a geocache hidden within the library rated almost as highly as the webcam itself. Almost, but not quite. And now that we've been able to sign a logbook, let's come up these stairs and see if we can't find one of the camera positions. In total, there are 6 cameras available in this library to choose from to complete the webcam. Alright, this is a wicked cool library, and I can see why they think they'd have ghosts here in the first place. Just walking up the stairs, I had this haunted feeling. But as webcam goes, it's another one that just doesn't get any easier. The webcam where I'm standing here on the stairs is live. You can see me right there talking to you guys right now, and you can see the camera right there in front of us. And there's also cameras all over the building. It really just doesn't get easier than this. I'm glad I popped up to Evansville to come visit this one. It turns out that was just a little too much fun. I couldn't stop with just one camera, not when the webcam worked that well. So I got shots on 3 different cameras while we were in the building. Went to the basement, first floor, and second floor. And my vote is, if there's any building in this city that's haunted, it's that one. It's definitely that one. On our way back toward Kentucky along Riverside Drive, we stopped at the banks of the Ohio River. Here along the Riverwalk, there are numerous memorials dedicated to our veterans, including this one of the Vietnam War, and another just a short ways down the road dedicated to the war in Korea. It was actually this statue that had grabbed our attention in the first place, showing the struggle of the troops during the war in Korea. But the most prominent monument here is the Four Freedoms Monument, which is the most recognizable landmark in Evansville. 13 concentric steps representing the original 13 colonies lead up to the 4 columns in the center. The centerpiece between the columns is a 200-year tribute to the founding of our nation. The interior of each column is inscribed with one of the 4 freedoms that form the backbone of the U.S. belief system. Running 360 degrees around the limestone columns are 50 pedestals, each bearing the name and seal of one of the 50 United States. Now I know it's been a good minute, but we've come across one. But prepare yourselves for a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy. Right there, we've got a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy. Yeah! But wait, there's another wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy just around the corner. Make that 2 wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guys. Although this guy's got a little bit less wacky than I'm used to seeing. He's definitely waving and inflatable, but not so wacky. Geocaches come in all shapes and sizes, and some are significantly larger than others. This one is a big boy right here. For our last stop of the day, we made our way into Hopkinsville, the batter capital of the world. Knowing that Jim RKY had set up an adventure lab pointing to some of the murals in town was all the incentive we needed to take a tour of the arts. We always enjoy the opportunity to take a look at murals whenever we come into a new city, because they tell a good story of the history of an area. It was through this mural that we had learned that Hopkinsville was the place to be during the Great American Eclipse in August of 2017. Rare celestial treat that brought over 100,000 visitors into Christian County to witness the event. And while the murals were nice, we were very excited to be able to see one more wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy for the day. 3 wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guys. Unbelievable. Our day ended in much the same way it had begun, along the Trail of Tears. This had also been used as a campsite between 1838 and 1839 and is the gravesite for 2 Cherokee chiefs who died during the removal. Flysmith and White Path rest here in memory of all the many Cherokee Indians who did not make the trek. And that concludes another exciting day out here on the trail in Kentucky. And it turned out to be a lot different of a day yesterday. Whereas yesterday we were out in the country all day long pursuing the most rural caches in the furthest western section of the pages, today we were in cities pretty much all day long. We'd hop from one city to the next, and all of our finds were basically park and grabs along the way. So it was a totally different change of pace. It's nice that we were able to make it into Hopkinsville, our final goal of the day, with a little bit of sunlight on our side, if only just a little bit. I think my strategy to maximize the sunlight has worked. We shifted our schedule a bit. We're going to bed a little bit earlier. We're waking up at about 3, editing videos, and that's getting us on the road about sunrise, and we're making the most of the time we have. It's been great to tour around this part of Kentucky and be able to end in Hopkinsville with a lot of great history, including this stop along the Trail of Tears. It's actually Not the best part of American history, but it's important to understand where we come from, good and bad, so we can prevent repeating the mistakes of the past. Thank you guys for joining us for yet another day. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.